Hey guys, it's GHP and welcome to another set 4 spoiler video. Wow, I just had to think about what set it is. Good job, me. So, we've got, I think, 6 new cards. We've gotten some pretty cool spoilers. We're going to start with one that might now have some significance to me, as yesterday on stream, so this is being recorded and hopefully uploaded on Tuesday, May 29th, according to my phone. So yesterday on Monday, we got to spoil Rindra's choice on stream. I'm very excited that DWD has given me a spoiler this season, as that was kind of cool, and I didn't get one in set 3. I was a bit disappointed about it, so I'm very happy to get one this time, and they gave me an awesome one. So let's talk about Rindra's choice. So we know we're getting a cycle of choices, and they've confirmed this, and it looks to be set 1 choices, because they've already also told us we're getting Cersos. So, Rindra's choice, we have in Feln 2 Primal Shadow. Okay, fast spell. So, Feln needs fast spells that are actually disruptive. So, let's see what we have. We have kill an enemy unit with more than 1 faction. Okay, anti-annihilate. Or negate an enemy spell with more than 1 faction. Okay, anti-Caleb's choice. Card's really good. Card's not going to be S5 4 of, and the reason for that is the 2 modes on it are conditional, same with Annihilate. That's why Annihilate doesn't see play as 4 of, except unless the meta is heavy into normally time-based decks, are the ones that Annihilate seems to be best against. Card's going to see plenty of play. These two, we knew we were going to get the first mode at some point. It's interesting they gave it to us on a card that had modes instead of being by itself. It's also interesting they gave it to us in Feln over, say, in Shadow, like Annihilate. I think this card is going to see a lot of play. It answers a lot of things like Tavrod and Hard the Vault that, for cheap, it gives you an answer to things like Scream, Bandit Queen, Highwayman that you struggled with beforehand in Feln. So it shores up some of your weaknesses as the deck. I'm sure I could see this card in a 3-color deck. Card's really, really powerful. It'll see plays 2 or 3, maybe some sideboard play. It won't be everywhere, but it's going to be enough to maybe change some random things that our decks are built to. For example, maybe our support mid goes, well, since play size, it hits my Tavrods, it doesn't hit Borderletter, it doesn't work that way. Well, why play Crown Trader? Let's just play some Impending Dooms instead. And you could do that. And then you're beating this card, so it's not like you have to make too much concessions to it, but I think this card's just going to be good. Feln is going to be happy they have this card. So let's move on to the next card, which I won't be talking as much about each card, but I felt like talking about that one. So we have Answer the Call. So Answer the Call is 6 mana, double justice. Play a unit for the top 6 cards of your deck. Then play all weapons from among those cards onto it and discard the rest. This to me screams, this is like Divining Rod. Let's ignore Rod for a second, because you can get Rod with this. But this just screams, get a Dekaria and throw a D-Forge Blade on it, or whatever weapon you can come up with. And that's powerful. That's very powerful. I think this card has powerful text. It does cost a lot of mana and has the potential to be 6 mana, do nothing. It's also terrible against aggressive decks. But this card does a lot of things against control decks, and it's also something that to me instantly reads go in Divining Rod. Divining Rod can really use cards like this well. Imagine you go, okay, I hit, I don't know, Diogo, and a Rod, and I get to get 4 more cards and all the creatures from it. You have this ability to play this card as like Rod's number 5 to 8. Although it doesn't necessarily hit Rod, maybe there's a Rod build that's just to play a couple extra weapons. We are getting another card like Rod. I'm sure there could be something done with it. So I think that's really interesting. I think this card will find a home eventually. The question is, where? 1 second. Can I get a Pepsi sponsor, please? Alright, let's move on to the next card, but Answer the Call is pretty cool. So we don't actually have any idea what this card does. Let's talk about it, because I do know. I don't have a fucking clue what Client Tactic is, but I can tell you what this Transmute and the client is, because we've been confirmed by Scarlet. This is Monuments except spells. We're getting Spell Monuments. People have wanted these for a long time. Now, the one problem is when you look at monuments, they're all weird. Aggro decks don't want depleted power. Control decks want to hit power past 5. Mid-range decks can't afford to miss their power drop or have depleted power too often. The problem with always depleted sigils is that sometimes they cause you to lose games. And the amount of games that they win you by being able to transform is not that high. That's why only one monument sees a lot of play, and that is the time one, because making a 5/5 for 5 with Overwhelm is very good for free. Although sometimes it just loses you the game. And that's something you have to know. These will see some play depending on how good the spells are. We just can't really tell you about what spells they are yet. So I can't really spoil them and talk about it. So we have Claw of Curiox. Now let's note, because of its rarity, you can see down here being colorless, this is not a card. This is something that can only be created by token. It is a token, sorry. It has to be created. So, what that means is we're going to have a card that creates this. So if we just evaluate this as a token, a 3/3 killer token, that's a dragon that could be relevant. Probably comes from something that's a Curiox, I'm guessing. Judging by the name and stuff. Pretty good. So I'm going to assume that this token is pretty good, and the card that it's attached to is what interests me, because this is a really powerful token. So we could be seeing something pretty good from this card. We don't know yet, though. It could be just a 5-mana 1/1 that creates a 3/3 killer thing, I don't know. And that would suck. So we don't know. So let's move on to the next card. I don't know how many more we have today. Where are they? There is more, right? Yes, alright, we have 2. So I'll start with the one that I'm not excited about. Won't be pretty. 3 mana, this is one of these weird cards. I don't remember the name people refer to them in Magic. But basically, when you allow your opponent to choose the best mode, those cards by default have always been kind of bad. The modes need to be quite good for you as the person casting it. So, you choose 2 enemy units. The enemy player chooses 1 to buff and 1 to deal 6 to. So, I don't think this card's very good. And the reason for it is you pick any board state. Okay, you kill the weakest unit, you buff their strongest unit usually. And then there's time where it's like, okay, I have a World Bearer Behemoth and something. And I'll deal 6 to World Bearer. Oops. This card also requires your opponent to have 2 units, which isn't good. That's a lot of conditions to meet. I don't think this card's very good. I don't even think this card's very good at draft, because this decision is not overly difficult, and it's hard to pressure your opponent into making the decision that you want. So I don't think this card is very good. I don't think it's going to see any play. I think cards like this, by default, are just so hard to make work. Unless you, in Magic right now, for example, you can play Torment of Hellfire. And basically that card is X, which is like Power Surge used to be, black. Sorcery, you cast this card X amount of times, and your opponent chooses. So it's lose 3 life, sacrifice a permanent, which could be one of your sigils, or discard a card. And if you can't do that mode, you can't choose it. So you could do that for like 35. That's powerful because your opponent dies. Like, basically always. The outcome that your opponent wants to pick is still fine for them, and that's the problem, is these modes are not that good, and sometimes this literally would say put a +1/+1 weapon on a unit of your opponent's choice, because 6 damage doesn't matter, and then there's plenty of times where this would sit in your hand dead. I think this card's just abysmal. I don't like cards like this. One card that I'm interested in, of course, me, one of the Scream guys out there, Void Drummer. Come on. So we have Zenith Cultist. I believe that's the name. 3 mana, 2/4. When a unit dies, it gets +2/+2 in your void. So this is an interesting one. 3 mana, 2/2, unblockable. Okay. I think it's Nightshade, draft card. That card's okay. It's not really constructed playable right now, but I've seen it in constructed. When it attacks, units in your void get +2/+2. So it doesn't have to hit your opponent. But when it attacks, buff your void. So I look at this card for Scream, and then I wonder if there's some OTK Scream. I don't think this card is good in regular Scream. But I think an OTK deck that maybe uses Sansari Bring It or the Yeti that has double damage maybe you buff them in your Void, and that's, +4/+4, and it makes it really good to scream those units, and it makes it easier to OTK them with, like, Rampage or Rapid Shot. But I think the other application for this card is with Dawnwalker. Now, the problem with Dawnwalker is you're putting a 3-mana 2/2 in your deck just to buff Dawnwalkers, but Dawnwalker already gets buffed by Zen Initiation and Obelisk, so you don't need to buff it that much, and Dark Return if you want to, but that's not the best Dark Return in my life. I think the net result on this card is going to be, sadly, that it's not playable. The effect is really cool. I have no idea why it's a legendary, and I don't want cards like this taking up legendary spots, though. I don't think that's who you want to be in a card game design field, but who am I to say? I think this card is really unique. I think cards like this are really cool, and it needs something to go with it to make this type of effect really good. But right now, I don't see this card seeing play, but it could get better depending on what cards we get in the rest of the set. So guys, that's all of our spoilers for today. Let me know in the comments what you thought of some of these spoilers, if you think I'm just an idiot about some of my spoilers. Whatever you want to say. Thank you guys for watching. We've had a lot of support on these videos so far. I'm not going to do the whole, you should like, subscribe, turn on notifications conversation, because I'm sick of hearing people do that. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support on these videos so far, and hopefully I see you at the next one.